Heyo, my name is Sarah and I'm back. Yeah, it's been a while since I last did a review. School's been keeping me busy and if I haven't mentioned this before, I kind of live in Texas, so we went through a thing just recently. But hey, yeah, I'm back and I'm back with a special because I will be doing the book review and the movie review on The Knife of Never Letting Go by Patrick Ness and the movie Chaos Walkin'. So we'll start off with the book first and get straight into spoilers. I give this book a 2 out of 5 stars. Honest to God, I thought I would enjoy this book a little bit more. This book's main character's name is Todd. He lives in a different planet called New World, where every man's thoughts are visibly displayed, called the Noise. And then one day something happens where he runs into a girl. So, mystery ensues. And we find out that the town he lives in, Prentice Town, is not what it really seems. So he must go with this girl that came from space named Viola, and they must try to warn these other settlements of what's about to happen from Prentice Town because they are on the move. This book, it was long and kind of not in a good way. And I found it very entertaining about it being all in double negatives. I was like, sometimes I do that whenever I'm just talking and I just do a couple of double negatives here and again. It does annoy like my mom, but I was like, I find that fun. But this one, oh my god, my mind hasn't translated like this in so many years, where I got confused, especially running sentences that are 2 paragraphs long. That put me through a loop. And the characters, Viola and Todd, they're preteens, not teens, preteens, because in this whole book Todd keeps talking about be a man, I'm about to be a man, so meaning he's about to turn 13, and the angst is real. I get it, preteens thinking they know things and everything, and when the situation throws them through a loop that they never expected, they get all insecure in a way because this is a new territory. They never expected to go down this path. Understandable. But how Todd was reacting to certain situations, I was like, dude, take a breather, chill. And Viola, she pretended not to be able to speak for some time and everything, but when she did, her mindset, oh my god. She had that mindset thing, oh, everything in New World is wrong. When we come down here, we'll teach y'all the right way. Not good. And especially when she met women for the first time, she kind of basically dropped Todd for first couple of chapters. A little backstory on this New World. It begins with, again, how Todd is describing the noise. He has a dog, and he also tells how in this world even animals show their thoughts. So we have Manchi, who's always repeating these words, but you see that he has a higher level of intelligence compared to like regular dogs here. And through his learnings at Prentice Town, which I already had known some red flags were flying everywhere, but especially book burning and control of information, was that Prentice Town teaches that the Spackled, which were the native creatures of New World, they had been at war with the people who settled there, settlers of course, and they had released a germ, a type of disease that became the noise, and it killed off the women but left the men with the noise. So that's what been taught to men and boys of Prentice Town. Well, of course, Todd's really excited becoming a man and everything. He's just like counting down the days. But you also see that the older men that are still in the town, there's something not right, especially whenever they look at Todd. They're thinking it's only a matter of time, which is really weird. And then we have Aaron, where a double tap is all that needed to solve the situation. He's the preacher, and whenever someone's noise is like on display and everything, when it's a holy thou art persona, that's more that's scarier in my perspective. Like whenever someone really, really believes something and it's religious based, I'm like, this person is gonna be a problem. Keep eyes on him at all time, because Aaron, he just shows up at places and it freaks me out, especially when he just shows up to Todd and he speaks in scripture and he leaves after like backslapping him. I'm like, Yeah, I don't like him. Another thing this book does is this far looming danger that's happening, especially from the Mayor Prentice. And I think he's supposed to be like the antagonist for the next two books, but I felt like Aaron was more of the antagonist in this one. But he's that looming myth, that boss that we hear about but never see, so it keeps the mystery afloat, thinking what is Mayor Princess gonna do. Now Todd lives with some family friends, Ben and Killian. They apparently knew his mother before she passed away and they kind of raised him. Well, after realizing that in Todd's noise he kind of like let slip that there is some type of quiet, they realize, okay, it's time to get him out of this town. And that's when they show him something, and this is what kind of aggravated me more, instead of irritated, same words I think, was that there's a lot of shows don't tells, which is good. Sometimes you need that. Sometimes you need a show don't tell, or tell and don't show. I really don't like those, but those kind of lead either way, and then you get an answer like maybe a couple chapters later, like, oh, okay, this did not. This showed Todd, and he had this speaking way kind of way that's written in the book, which I was like really intrigued about. I liked how Patrick Ness did this writing, but how Todd would describe the show don't tell really got to me. I'm like, okay, I get this horrible thing. Can you let loose a hint as to what I'm thinking about? But no, they didn't. They just showed him, and Todd's like, okay, gotta go. And we don't get the answers like close to the end of the book, which I really didn't appreciate, people. Now you're telling me that a spaceship came, hit, landed, fire ensues, people die. There's a girl that Todd sees. He realizes it's a girl, especially after Manchi, stops her. And you're telling me that no one saw this landing. But Aaron did, I think, because after Todd sees the girl and she whacks him over the side of the head with a branch, Aaron shows up because of course he does. And that really doesn't work out because in the fight they're in a swamp area, and there's apparently like, gators and crocs that are part of this habitat, including some extraterrestrial life forms that are natural to the habitat as well. Todd manages to get Aaron off the girl and he falls into the water, and you think that's the end, but no, Aaron's like a zombie. He keeps coming back unless you take off his head, because he survives that attack later on. And now Todd has this girl that doesn't speak, that we find out eventually his name is Viola, and Manchi, and they are on the run to this other place that Ben and Killian said was safe. And first of all, Todd only thought there was Prentice Town. So you're sending this kid who's, again, a preteen with little to no information to a place, also saying, yeah, something's bad is gonna happen when you turn 13 here. It's like, it'd be nice to have this information a couple days in advance, but certain situations call for it. Now this is where the book kind of drags in a way that I felt like it's supposed to be like a journey, adventure, time-crunching book, but just felt long. I mean, we could have gone through so many different ways on certain things, and one of them was like, blowing up a bridge. I get that because they're being chased on horseback, and so Todd and Viola blow up a bridge, and like, okay, we bought ourselves some time. And that's how we kind of meet Hildy, who is a woman that Todd sees, and like, how is that even possible? And she's like, you thought that there's only men around? And we are introduced to the settlement Far Branch, which is more agricultural, meaning that there's people here that's been farming, animals, water, and everything. And Todd's really taken aback, and he realizes that Princess Town's been hiding so many secrets. We do pick up some information, especially how people feel about Princess Town men. And again, more show don't tell, especially about a lot. This one was okay. You kind of got the feel of it. Not only do we find out Viola's kind of stuck here for about 7 months unless she can contact her ship, because she came from a ship full of settlers, and they were thinking of, probably settling on New World, since there was already settlements down here. They didn't have any information about the current settlements, apparently, because, they kind of let the technology go to waste. And they said maybe you can go to Haven. They might have more tech that you can use since it's the original settlement. And in the book we find out that, the men of Princess Town have left the swamp and they're starting to attack settlements. Now, there's a little background noise going on as Todd and Viola make a run for it, especially And when they look back at Farbranch, seeing how it's being overtaken by Prentisstown men, because like all the men of the town are there. And I had a feeling that these other settlements might have been a little bit more up to keep, but apparently Prentisstown men are easily taking over these settlements, which I found really confusing. Like, what is really going on here? But we don't get any information at all, because all we know that there's an army following us. We gotta get to Haven, and we're following the perspective of Todd with Viola by his side and Manchi, but that's all we get. We really don't get to see what's really going on with these attacks, which I would have been more intrigued on seeing. There's this character named Prentice Jr. who is about 2 years older than Todd, who is the sheriff. And like Aaron's been tracking Todd and Viola, and the knife of never letting go. Ben gave Todd a knife that he's always keeping on him, and he wants to use it on Prentice Jr., especially when he catches them and they're fighting for life and survival, and he's getting ready to do it, and Viola's like, no, don't do it, you'll just be giving them what they want, or something like that. And Todd doesn't kill Prentice Jr., and they just tie him up and leave him. Like, I knew that was going to come and bite us in the ass, but it's like, if I know this kid that has this huge ego in him and this confidence, especially how he was talking about what they did to the women and children back at Farbranch, I don't know. I think, we should probably take him out just to be sure, because eventually Aaron does that zombie pop-up thing. I'm just saying. We do have an encounter with a spackle, which Todd was like, first of all, surprised, but then overtaken by vengeance, because all his life he's been told that, the spackle were the ones that did the noise, did the war and everything, killed all the women. Understandable. And also understandable that they would be really surprised to see a spackle alive. And through that revenge, he does kill the spackle, even though Viola said, don't do it, don't do it. And she's like, after finding out everything, that's all these secrets that are about Prentisstown, you still blindly believe them? Well, first of all, that's all he's ever known, Viola. So it's going to take a while for him to accept certain things. I mean, it's been in his mindset going on 13 years. And he does, kill the spackle. And his noise gets a little uncontrollable. His motions go a wire. And it's at that moment where Aaron does do the peekaboo thing and nabs Viola. And so now Todd and Manchi have to go rescue Viola, which is not good, because Aaron did take a stab at Todd. It didn't kill him, but it got infected, especially with the spackle blood. So he has got a little fever going on. How I saw that this noise could be useful in a way, and also a little bit mental, was when Aaron had his fever going for Viola, and he made it to this empty settlement, and like he was seeing Aaron, but then he was seeing Viola. And I was confused a little bit, thinking, is this Aaron doing a genjutsu, or is this, Todd just having the fever? Well, it turned out Todd was having the fever. But I was like, that would have been scary. Like, if someone had mastered their noise enough to do that, make illusions pop around. I was like, that would have been a scary situation, but no, that was not it. Todd does come up with a plan with Manchi to rescue Viola, which is really smart. Distract Aaron, have Manchi run around screaming Todd. And that does work, and they do get Viola, but oh my god. This was a sad scene. I actually felt like, yes, Aaron must die now. Because Manchi saves Todd when they're trying to get away from Aaron on a boat. And something happens to where Aaron gets Manchi. He's giving Todd a choice between Viola and Manchi. And so they can't do anything. They're in a boat, and the drift has carried them. And they can't even turn around even if they wanted to. So we watch as Manchi is like calling out, questioning Todd, like, why are you leaving me? Where are you going? And Aaron and Todd is like, oh, I'm sorry, Manchi. I'm sorry, Manchi. Like, he really wants to save him, but then Aaron kills him. And I was like, okay, I've grown attached to this dog, because he had a personality, he had a voice, he had a level of intelligence, he was aware of things that were going around, and he had the sense of loyalty to Todd, who at first didn't want Manchi to begin with when he was given to him, like maybe a couple years earlier, but he had grown more attached to him, had him by his side, knew his presence, felt familiar with it, that kind of thing. And to have that taken away, that's like, wow, Aaron, I'm gonna kill you. We make it through a few settlements, especially where we see different ways of life. Some where, Viola doesn't take to Heights because she saw in Far Branch that mostly women were in charge, and they make it to this other settlement where men are mostly in charge. Like, girl, child. Of course they're gonna have different ways of life, different ways of thinking. Don't get bent out of shape because of that. We find Ben, who's alive. Sadly, Killian is not. Prentice Jr., I knew he was gonna be a pain in the ass. But we find out through Ben, which felt, you know, more at heart, more deeply, when he told Todd what really happened. And it was not that the Spackle were the ones that killed the women and everything, because we found out through information we collected that the people of Prentisstown separated themselves into the swamp. Well, we found out through Ben that Mayor Prentice, and with the assistance of Aaron, they kind of took over the town. It was New Elizabeth, one of the settlers from Far Branch's mother, was in charge until, you know, the men took over. And through Aaron, they figured, like, you know, women are evil, they have no souls because we can't see their noise, so that's why they were all killed. Luckily, Todd's mom gave him to Ben and Killian, and the law was that, you know, if any man from Prentisstown was to leave the swamp, basically kill on sight, which is why they wanted to get Todd out early, because he was still technically a boy. And when we learned that the way how boys become men was that certain men who either deserted or were enemies of Mayor Prentice would disappear, and they were used for initiation, meaning the boys would kill them to become men, and then they would be completely loyal to Mayor Prentice, which I was like, okay, a little confusing. I don't see why that would make you loyal to him. That would probably make me want to resent him. And this would be nice information to give Todd early on to know what to expect in case he had to run earlier on, because he's about to be 13. This would be nice to tell a kid 11 and teach him how to control his noise a little bit more, because he kind of does know how to hide things, not as good, but not taught earlier on. But that would have been good to tell him, prepare him for a certain possibility. And I just don't get the mindset of how this would make any person evil in the eyes of the other settlers. Like, it seems like that they didn't have a choice. Some kids probably took to it, some probably didn't like it but were forced to accept it. Prentice Jr. apparently liked it. And so, yeah, a little confusing. And this is when they realize, oh, we got chased not only after Todd to show that we are a whole. Let's take this other settlements too. Felt interesting, weird, I don't know. But Ben sends Viola and Todd on ahead because he's going to try to deal with Prentice Jr. that followed them. We made it to Haven, like we see them preparing for battle. And of course Aaron does another peekaboo and he shows up. And we find out that Aaron was meant to be the sacrifice to Todd to become a man. And he really is mad that didn't happen, because he really believed in his heart that he was supposed to be a martyr for Todd to become a man, to kill a man to become a man. So like that mindset's a little scary to keep in power. And he does try to, you know, get Todd to kill him, but Viola in turn kills him because she's been terrified of this man this whole entire book, which felt like a good resolve. And the book ends off with Prentice Jr. shooting Viola, which I knew was going to come and bite us in the ass. And Todd spooks his horse to carry him away. And they go to Haven, which is deserted. And he's calling for help. And then out of the shadows comes Mayor Prentice, who's taken over the settlement by means of persuasion. And also conquered the other settlements as well. And he's like, welcome to the new capital of New World and everything. It's like, and that's how it ends? I'm like, come on, Haven, you knew days in advance that this was gonna happen, and y'all still's like, oh, matter of persuasion, he is very good with words, we will surrender. What? It's like, I didn't get that. And that's how it ended. And I was like really frustrated in a way. It's like, So yeah, I kind of wanted to enjoy this really a lot. But it's like, I was frustrated not only with the characters, but how long this book was. A little confused on the, you know, the choices, the reasoning behind why Prentisstown attacked, even though it didn't really feel like a good enough reason. And everything, I was like, I kind of wanted to enjoy this, but it's like it kind of let me down at the end. Now, for the movie, I give Chaos Walking a good 3 out of 5 stars, but for a book adaptation, I'm gonna be generous. I'm gonna give it a 2 out of 5 stars. Now, pros and cons. Pros. I liked the actors, more specifically Matt Nicholson and David Alowo. Sorry if I mispronounced that. I am really sorry. I'm just gonna call him David and Mads. But yeah, the adult actors, these 2 actors, I am really big fans of theirs. And Mads Mikkelsen, oh my god, him as Mayor Prentice. Because in the trailer, I thought maybe he was one of the uncles to Todd, but no, he was the mayor. And unlike the mayor that we really didn't see at all until the final end of the book, he, in a way, knew how to get into people's heads, how to be that voice of reasoning, that means of persuasion to get people on his side. He knew how to get into their minds, into their noise, which is like, okay, I can see why people would follow him. And especially showed when he showed up to the settlement of Haven. It's like, okay, he's good with words, he's good with leadership. He wasn't this all evil that we were led to believe, which was more interesting because the person that's really good with, you know, voice is a better villain. And David as Aaron, okay, we didn't have the zombie all misshaped kind of thing that apparently took a lot of hits, a lot of bites, and was still running around. No, we just had this regular guy. But the way his noise perceived him, and the way he spoke with the lines that he was given, it really looked like hellfire surrounded him. And the way he spoke and the way he moved, especially on horseback, I was like, this guy, if we had him make up like how Aaron was in the book after taking all those hits, that would have been terrifying as hell. And the actors, with the lines that they were given, they made it work. And Tom Holland, he was okay. He was okay as Todd, but it's like he still had that Spider-Man charm about him. The big thing that they did was age up the main characters, which I didn't really mind at all. Got me away from the angst, but still he felt a little bit acting like he's playing more Spider-Man, especially for certain scenes. I was like, okay. Daisy Ridley, they let her speak earlier on in the movies. Like, okay, I did want to stick around with a silent Viola, but I don't know. The book Viola was a thorn in my side, but she did have certain things to bring to the table, certain ideas, plans, and equipment that we had for the travel. Movie Viola, oh, she seemed smart. She knew how to start a motorcycle by hot wiring it, and she knew how to get the ship antenna working to send out a signal. It's just something felt a little bit missing. The lines weren't really bad. Like, I felt like the people that were in charge of the script did their best, and the actors worked with what they got. Some of them made it good, some went with it, and this one, I don't know. It just felt like something was missing with this character, with this actor. I like the visual effects. I mean, when we saw the beginning shot, I didn't, first of all, appreciate, this would probably be a con, the opening quote, because I hate those when they basically say what's going on and we get a repeat. But I liked how they visualized the planet, and we saw that how it looked different. We saw that it looked like a noise surrounding the atmosphere of the planet. The noise I really loved. It was different based on certain people, especially for, again, Aaron and Mayor Prentice, how they visualized it and how they displayed it. And my favorite scene was when Ben tricked Mayor Prentice, and I was all like, we have found the founder of the Chia clan, because what Ben does is that he makes Viola appear all lifelike. He gives her a shadow. He lets her body move certain ways. The wind catches certain things that makes it move around like it's an actual living being, organic person when he presents her to Mayor Prentice. And we find out that no, it was his noise casting an illusion. I was like, that is serious Uchiha Genjutsu stuff. Like, we have found the founder of the Uchiha. We do get little snippets of the spackle because we're in a different planet. We have to show what it is, and we get like a quick look, like a peekaboo of a spackle settlement. So apparently Todd knows more about them. Okay. And we saw this, it looked very primitive, and we do see a scene with a spackle, and I liked how they visualized it. But this also falls into con. They didn't kill the spackle, which gave Todd like a moment of crisis. Todd really didn't kill anyone in this movie. It was rushed. Like, again, it's a movie, and I could feel where the budget was and the time crunch. They did good with what they had, considering how this movie was basically in production hell. And it felt like a good movie. To, you know, if I had time to go watch, then I would definitely have watched it. I felt a little bit entertained, more with the older cast than with the younger cast. Now let's move on to the cons. So I made my little nitpicks earlier. The first one was how they revealed the whole thing behind Town was in Todd's mother's diary. It's like, yeah, we had some diary entries, but it was Ben, so it felt more at the heart, more emotional when it was Ben that revealed what was going on. No, it was when Viola was reading everything in Todd's mother's journal, and it felt like, okay, we got to wrap this up a little bit, so we'll just do this, the whole dialect thing, whole dialogue. And Todd, you know, found out that way, and he felt really upset. First of all, you show like a quick flashback in Todd's dreams how he had this better relationship with the mayor, which again, smart. With the last boy in the town, get close to him, make sure he's on your side, that he would trust you more than the people who's racing. That was smart. But after that whole reading, he's like, the mayor lied. It's like, I don't know, it felt like he had a stronger connection to the mayor. Especially when he found out about the ship, he went straight to the mayor to tell him, and the mayor praised him. It's like, he knew how to work Todd. He knew how to work him. The one actor that I felt was given a lot less was Nick Jonas. And it's like, that arrogant ego person in the book that I felt was going to be major trouble. I felt like he was a fly that I could swat away and wouldn't bite me or anything. And if he tried, I felt like I could literally swat him and be done with him. Because he felt like the kid that never got daddy's attention and was jealous of the kid that did and wanted to prove himself and made terrible decisions. And a small nitpick was that one scene that we saw in the trailer that they put in the movie that I really didn't feel like had any relevance at all besides showing we can do other things with the noise, was when Todd was in town chilling on a porch and Princess Jr. came to, you know, antagonize him, and he did the snake trick. Maybe it was to show to the mayor that he was getting stronger using the noise, proving his worth. That felt really, really out of place. You could feel the runtime was coming to a close and they had to hurry up, as well as the budget, because all we saw was Far Branch, a minor mention of Haven, but that whole thing was scrapped. And Far Branch put up a bigger fight against the men of Town, because we saw them coming in the movie, but Mayor Princess, Mads Mikkelsen, his voice of persuasion, and that worked on them. Especially when the mayor Hildy said, don't let him get in your head. You would have thought that you'd have more loyalty to her than these people that they know were a major threat that could potentially come back at any time. And they just gave up that easily. That kind of way of persuasion felt like it wouldn't have worked. I felt like they would have been more prepared about their enemy on this. But I guess they just had to hurry up and move on with the script. And the major left turn that they did at the end of the movie is like, I did not appreciate that, but I felt like, they were like, oh crap, we gotta end this quick. And so instead of going to Haven, where in the book Mayor Princess took over and now he's in charge of everything, Todd and Viola found this old, abandoned, overgrown ship that's part of the first settlements, and they figured that if they can get the antenna working, they can warn the ship that was coming, not 7 months away, but it was like literally getting ready to descend soon in a few days. I didn't really feel the urge of, urgency. She said she wanted to warn them and leave. okay, I get that. You know, this wasn't how it's supposed to be. Move on to the next planet. I get that. But they don't. Like, they decide, hey, we're going to be the second settlement. We're going to settle. And so you're going to prove that all the Mayor Princess has been saying was that, you know, new settlers are coming and they're going to overthrow our way of life. That makes his words sound more of value than what's going on. Because that's what he was doing in this movie. Instead of the book, they're like, hey, moment to shine, let's take over these towns. No, he actually had a good enough reasoning. This was a threat of power, and he could use this to persuade people. And it's like, so I like that aspect, but they just did. I don't know. And I did not like what they did at the end to show good triumph over evil. Because first of all, Viola did kill Aaron, but he didn't have that urgency that he did with Todd in the book. It felt like he was dead set on what he wanted to do, but at that last second, it felt like he was conflicted of the choices he made in the past. That wasn't Aaron in the book. He was dead set on what he did, but this Aaron felt like he regretted some things, and then Viola killed him. I don't know. Having zombie Aaron chase us, and the reasoning behind why he was so obsessed with Aaron felt more of a threat. And then when Todd fought Mayor Princess alone because he told his men to stay back, he did the kenjutsu that Master Ben taught us, and he made his mother appear, which is like he had an idea of what she looked like. It's like, I don't know how he would, but then he made everyone else appear, and he was getting it in Mayor Princess's head, even though he's been, you know, very calm, collected through this whole point of the movies. And he would definitely have known that these weren't real people. That he would have known this was noise. And then Viola knocks him into an abyss, and that was the end. I mean, Todd did get wounded, and he woke up on the ship that had landed, and he found out through Viola, yeah, the next settlement is here, where we could do next, and then it ends like that, especially after Mayor Princess's men evac. I was like, this felt rushed, like, a lot. The first, I would say, 45 hours, it felt like they knew where they were going with this movie. It felt like they knew, the directors, producers, everyone knew where they were going with this movie. And I get that, but then again, we know we've all heard the stories how this movie, Chaos Walking, was always put on shelf, brought back out, filmed, reshot, everything. So, close to the end, the remaining time after that, we felt the rush, really. But you also felt where the budget went, because we didn't see how this was like a different planet. Like, yeah, we saw the Chusons, we saw the planet outside on itself, we saw the noise, which was good, but in the book we saw more wildlife, and all we saw was a bug and a squid. I was like, this could be anywhere in our world. Oh yeah, Chusons, oh, the sun doesn't really set or anything. And they didn't put noise on the animals, which was like, didn't make Manchi's death feel any, you know, impactful, because he, again, Manchi in the book had form of intellect to him. He understood his surroundings. He knew everything that was going on. Having him die here just felt like a regular dog dying, which it's still sad, but it's like not as impactful. It just made Aaron look like a jerk and spiteful. Nick Jonas, I think they could have done more with him, put more character into him. Tom and Daisy, they worked with what they had with the script and everything. Again, everything felt rushed. Mads Mikkelsen and David, they were spectacular. I like that about them in the movie. Where are you going? They tried to do their best. This movie just went through so many loops that at the end, they realized, hey, we're running out of time. We gotta end it this way right now, right here. If this movie had came out earlier, during, like, you know, the Divergent Hunger Games era, it wouldn't have made it. With it right now, I feel like it will collect some money. It was a decent movie. Like I said, it was a good watch if you had time and you just wanted to go watch a movie. I felt like Chaos Walking as a movie itself was okay. Okay, just pass the time. Oh, it's a sci-fi film. Let's go check it out. That's what I felt like it. But for an adaptation, they tried their best. But then again, it was all through Todd's point of view, all of his angst self. And they weren't given as much to work with. And they missed some key points in the book that I felt very vital to the movie. So that's why I give it a lower ranking as a movie to book. The book to movie adaptation. And yeah, The Knife of Never Letting Go by Patrick Ness, 2 out of 5 stars. And Chaos Walking movie, 3 out of 5 stars. Book to movie adaptation, 2 out of 5 stars. My name is Sarah, and bye!